Hi guys, I'm Sophia. I'm 17 years old and I grew up with a severe peanut allergy. For most of my life, it shaped everything I did. And although I'm currently getting treatment for it, it's still a big part of my life. So I wanted to create this series to kind of explain and share my own journey with it because I feel that there are a lot of misconceptions about allergies, and I think a lot of people don't really understand like the severity of them, but also a lot of people don't realize that there are treatments and cures. So it's no longer like a life sentence, and there are ways that things can change. So today I'm going to be talking about the beginning of my journey when I was first diagnosed with this allergy and what it was like to really grow up with it. So when I was really little, like a toddler, my parents started to notice that maybe there was something a little bit off because anytime they ate peanuts around me, I would start coughing, and my face would get red and I'd break out in hives. And this was really scary. So even though we didn't quite understand what it was, these reactions made it clear that something wasn't right. But the first time that it got really serious is when I was around like 3 or 4, and I went to the movie theater to watch Tangled for the first time. And I was given a little piece of Butterfingers, and I didn't eat any part that had peanuts. I just ate the chocolate, but immediately I started to have a reaction. And since I was young, I didn't really understand what it was, but I remember that like my throat was really itchy, so I kept like going and drinking my dad's water. And at first, like, he didn't really like pay much attention to that, like, because he thought I was just thirsty because that's how I was. But then he realized like something is weird, so then he looked over at me and he saw that my face had broken out into hives and like it was swollen and puffy. So like then my parents rushed me to the emergency room, to urgent care, and the doctors told them that without quick treatment I might not have survived. And that was so terrifying for me and my family. And so it was a wake-up call that this wasn't just like a small little allergy, and it was something that was life-threatening and needed to be addressed. So after that, my parents took me to my pediatrician, who then referred me to an allergist. And after a lot of testing, we officially found out that I had a peanut allergy, a severe peanut allergy, in fact. And so the allergist prescribed me with an EpiPen and albuterol and told me that I had to carry it with me at all times, and probably for the rest of my life. So I remember like thinking like these words were so heavy to me, and I couldn't believe that this is something that I was gonna have to deal with for the entire rest of my life. And so from that point on, this allergy was a big part of my life. And I think that people don't realize that living with a peanut allergy isn't just about avoiding peanuts, but there are so many other things so many other effects that it has. So for example, I couldn't not only eat peanuts, but I also couldn't eat anything that may contain peanuts or had like traces or was created in the same facility. So this really like ruled out a lot of food for me. So I missed out on so many little moments that like other kids probably took for granted. Like at birthday parties, when everyone else got to eat cupcakes or brownies or some dessert, I had to just sit out and I couldn't eat anything. And this I would always just feel so embarrassed and like isolated. And then another thing is that at school, I had to sit at the peanut-free table. So really, I have some bad memories with this. And so I could only bring one friend with me. So like during lunch, when everyone else was with all their friends and they were all laughing and whatever, like it was just me and one friend, which at least I could have that. But like I remember like one day specifically, this friend wasn't at school, and so I had to sit by myself alone at this table. And I was so sad, and I just felt so embarrassed too. And like I just felt so isolated as well because I was sitting by myself at this table. And like I remember sometimes kids would walk by and be like, "Why are you sitting here? Why are you all by yourself?" And I was like, "Well, I can't sit over there. I'm gonna die," like, you know. And I remember coming home and crying to my parents. Like it was just, yeah, it was really sad. And even to this day, like when I really think about it or talk about it, it sometimes makes me tear up because like it was really bad for me. Another thing is that like eating out at restaurants and stuff was very risky, and so a lot of times we didn't do that because the restaurants couldn't guarantee that there was no cross-contamination or any traces of peanuts anywhere else. So I had to pretty much avoid that. This meant that I also couldn't really go to my friends' houses very often, or at least I couldn't eat there, because a lot of parents didn't really understand the impact that an allergy had. And so they thought it was just a small issue and didn't really matter. So they wouldn't really be worried about cross-contamination and stuff, which is a big issue for me because I would have died. So oftentimes I couldn't really do things like that or go to birthday parties too. Like my parent would have to be there just like to make sure everything was okay. So yeah, like all of these things just really made me feel like so different and isolated. And it was really hard. And like, of course, I was still fine. Like I had a good childhood, but this is just something that did definitely affect me. So I just wanted to really like tell people this because I feel people don't realize, you know? Like it wasn't just about the food, but it was about missing out on normal childhood experiences and stuff like that. So hopefully this video was informative to you or interesting. Like if you didn't have an allergy, hopefully now you understand that it kind of is a big deal at times. And maybe if you do have an allergy, you realize that you're not alone and that there's always hope, because I now can eat peanuts actually. Like I can eat 26, actually no, like 32. So yeah, in my next video, I'll continue on talking about this journey that I had with my allergy. See you then.